1. When does the train leave? 2. How far is it? 3. Where do you get the bus? 4. How much is the fare? 5. What time is your train? 6. How long is the flight? 7. Do you like it there? 8. Do you enjoy teaching? 9. Do you work in an office? 10. Is it fun? So, what do you do? I'm a flight attendant. That sounds interesting. Do you fly overseas a lot? Yes, I've been to over 30 countries. How about you? What do you do? I'm a manager in a restaurant. Do you work on the weekends? No, I travel on the weekends. It's a great job. In the past few years, Vietnamese food has become more and more popular around the world. Food lovers may have tried the two best-known Vietnamese dishes, spring rolls and bread rolls. Rice, noodles, fresh vegetables and herbs all play a big role in Vietnamese food, making it one of the healthiest cuisines in the world. In Vietnam, you'll discover one unmistakable fact. Vietnamese people love noodles. They eat them every day, sometimes for every meal. Vietnamese noodles are made from a few basic ingredients, the most common being rice, wheat, and mung beans, but a whole sub-cuisine is built on these basics. What's in Vietnamese food? In the northern part of the country, thanks to the influence of neighboring China, people tend to use more soy sauce than other parts, where fish sauce is more usual. Other common ingredients in Vietnamese cooking include black pepper, mainly in the north, hot chili, coconut milk, limes, lemongrass, tamarind, and cane sugar, supplemented by asparagus and potatoes, courtesy of the French influence. Methods of cooking vary from simmering or boiling to frying or grilling. Stir-frying using a wok and chopsticks is common. Many European influences can be found in Vietnamese dishes, including sauces, meats, cold roast pork, pâtés and baguettes, French rolls. At the other end of the scale, in some parts of the country, there is still plenty of demand for exotic meats, such as dog, turtle, and snake. Yes, sir. May I help you?
I'd like a room for 2 nights, please.
2 nights?
That's right. My name is Chris Smithson.
Did you say Smith?
No, Smithson. S-M-I-T-H-S-O-N. Do you need some identification?
Do you say you have identification?
Yes, I do. Here you go.
Freedom Travel. How may I help you? Yes, I'd like to make a flight reservation for the 23rd of this month. Okay, what is your destination? Well, I'm flying to Helsinki, Finland. Okay, let me check what flights are available. Okay, and when will you be returning? Well, I'd like to catch a return flight on the 29th. Oh, and I'd like the cheapest flight available. Okay, let me see. Yeah? Well, the price for the flight is almost double the price you would pay if you leave the day before. Oh. Well, let's go with the cheaper flight. By the way, how much is it? It's only $980. All right. Well, let's go with that. Okay, the flight is the 1070 from Salt Lake City to New York, Kennedy Airport, transferring to flight 90 from Kennedy to Helsinki. And what's the departure and arrival times for each of those flights? It leaves Salt Lake City at 10 a.m., arriving in New York at 4:35 p.m., then transferring to flight 90 at 5:55 p.m., and arriving in Helsinki at 8:30 a.m. the next day. All right. And I'd like to request a vegetarian meal. Sure, no problem. And could I have your name, please? Some people learn a second language easily. Other people have trouble learning a new language. How can you help yourself learn a new language, such as English? There are several ways to make learning English a little easier and more interesting. The first step is to feel positive about learning English. If you believe that you can learn, you will learn to be patient. You do not have to understand everything all at once. It's natural to make mistakes when you learn something new. We can all learn from our mistakes. The second step is to practice your English. For example, write in a journal or diary every day. You will get used to writing in English, and you will feel comfortable expressing your ideas in English. After several weeks, you will see that your writing is improving. In addition, you should speak English every day. You can practice with your classmates or foreigners. The third step is to keep a record of your language learning. You can write this in your journal. After every class, think about what you did. Did you answer a question correctly? Did you understand something the teacher explained? Perhaps the lesson was difficult, but you tried to understand it. It is important to practice every day and make a record of your achievements. One. I like campus, the classes, and the teachers. 2. She likes the food, the people, and the sports. 3. I don't like my schedule, my teachers, or the homework. 4. My father likes playing football, watching TV, or listening to the radio. 'Long ago, a lot of people thought the moon was God. Other people thought it was just a light in the sky. And others thought it was a big ball of cheese. The telescopes were made, and men saw that the moon was really another world. They wondered what it was like. They dreamed of going there. On July 20th, 1969, that dream came true. 2 American men were the first to land on the moon. Their names were Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin. The first thing the men found was that the moon was covered with dust. The dust is so thick that the men left footprints where they walked. Those were the first marks a living thing had ever made on the moon, and they could stay there for years and years. There is no wind or rain to wipe them off. The 2 men walked on the moon for hours. They picked up rocks to bring back to Earth for study. They dug up dirt to bring back. They set up machines to find out things people wanted to know. Then they climbed back into their moon landing craft. The next day, the landing craft roared as the men took off the moon. They joined Michael Collins in the spaceship that waited for them above the moon. Then they were off on their long trip back to Earth. Behind them, they left the plains and the tall mountains of the moon. They left the machines they had set up. And they left footprints that may last forever. Women in the US got one of their first tastes of the working world during World War II. The men went to war, and the women went to the factories and offices. Though the women returned to their homes after the war, they didn't remain there for long. The social changes of the 1960s and the 1970s caused a cultural revolution that found many women pursuing careers outside the home. In recent years, more men have expressed a desire to take on the role of primary caregiver to the children. That doesn't mean these changes have been easy. The men have had to struggle with what masculinity means to them if they're not the sole breadwinner. Women have to deal with making less than men in wages and a difficult time advancing to the highest position within a company. Women are also subjected to the mummy wars, a set of battles between working mums and stay-at-home mums, in which each side declares that the other side is irreparably harming their children. And while the recession may have forced more men to stay home, they didn't necessarily pick up the bulk of the housework or childcare. The New York Times reported that unemployed dads spent about as much time caring for the children as their working counterparts did. The laid-off dads made finding a new job their foremost priority. This state of affairs is probably not unfamiliar to working mums, who have long dealt with the so-called second shift, in which they come home from their stint in the professional world only to spend just as much time cooking, cleaning, and caring for children. Though change is still in the air, there's no doubt that men and women's roles have become less strictly defined. And many families have made the male and female roles more egalitarian when it comes to jobs, housework, and childcare. Five tips to become more successful in your career. Priorities and goals. What are your priorities of the day? Make a list of your priorities and plan your day. The tasks of the day must be outlined with the most important and urgent ones at the top. Be focused. Are you really present, physically and mentally? Try to block out all other distractions so that you have time to truly focus on your tasks and career. Broaden your skills. Nothing remains the same, and nor do job requirements. Update your knowledge and skills. Seek improvement of your know-hows. Attend seminars, conferences, read books, and be an eternal learner. Socialize. Be ready to participate in social functions. Be open to new acquaintances. Meet new people and deal with them respectfully and enthusiastically. Be an active listener. You will surely learn something new. Know your merits. Know your strengths and weaknesses. If you think you deserve a position or a promotion, claim it. How to make a good impression at a job interview. Generally, You should answer questions clearly and concisely. Ask relevant, thought-provoking questions at appropriate moments, as this can show that you're genuinely interested in the role and really listening to the interviewer. Avoid talking about any personal problems. Be as enthusiastic as possible. Be well-mannered with any staff that you meet before the interview. Display positive body language, speaking clearly, smiling frequently, and retaining eye contact. Don't badmouth any previous employers. Give a firm handshake to your interviewers before and after. Highlight your best attributes, experiences, and achievements based around the skills that you've identified as important to the organization and evidencing them with practical examples.